Alright guys, today's video is going to be on getting Windows Prometheus exporter up and running on your computer, and of course like having it start up whenever you turn on your computer. Alright, so because this isn't as quite as simple as you would like that hope, so that's why we're here. So we're going to search for Windows Prometheus exporter on Google, right? I came across this one is the one I've been using, so let's go ahead and we're going to go into it. Now of course, like if there is like any nice configuration stuff that you want to implement or whatever, right, this has a good job showing you what what flags and stuff to use so that you can actually manipulate it. We always try to use the defaults first before we mess with anything. So let's go ahead and you're going to go ahead and download it now. Real quick, right, this is an application, right, that you run. This is not an application you install, meaning that when you download this, right, so we're going to grab this AMD 64 one. Of course, if you use ARM, use ARM. But when we download this, we need to save this in a place that we're planning on keeping it, right? Keeping it there, not worrying about it being moved or deleted accidentally. And yeah, that's just kind of the only caveat you need to just pay attention to. Okay, we have such a directory where we keep stuff like that at, so that's what we're going to use. So now let's go ahead and talk about the task scheduler. Okay, so the way you get stuff like that to execute on its own is you're going to use Windows Task Scheduler. Okay, so Windows Task Scheduler lets you set up stuff to start when your computer turns on, or all kinds of different triggers, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a basic task. Now I actually already have it, so I'm just going to go ahead and show this one because it's the exact same stuff, right? Nothing special. All right, so very first thing we're going to do is we are going to, you give it a name, right? Whatever it is you want to call it. We're going to go here to triggers. You want to hit new. All right, I'm just showing you what I have, and I selected at startup, and make sure everything else is unchecked, enabled, right? Cool. You do that. For the actions, you're going to hit new, and you're going to select start program. Okay, and then right, so I'm gonna let you know, right, I had used PowerShell in order to get this working. I tried it originally some time ago, trying to get just the application, using just the application itself, and I couldn't quite get that to work. So I mean, you can try it to see if it works for you, and if not, you probably have to do it this way, which is what I did, which is with PowerShell. So like I said, I'll have this in the description, so you just be able to copy it. What you're going to do is you're going to use the PowerShell application that's on your system. For the add arguments, okay, you're going to have this in quotes, which is just basically the application, right? Where it's being executed from. And then here's the important part, the start in. Okay, so for the start in, you're going to need to set that to wherever you have that that application stored at, because remember I told you, right, this wasn't an application we can install. It's something that it has to, you run it. So we set a location where I keep stuff like that at, and I have a Windows Prometheus folder, right, that I had made so that I wouldn't have to worry about like accidentally deleting it, moving it, or whatever, right? So I just make sure I set that as the start in location. So wherever you're going to actually keep that application at, right, that's where you want to keep it. That's what you want to put in here. Okay. For the conditions, right, I unchecked this. I think it's the power thing that's on. Like, you can uncheck that. I mean, unless of course you're doing this on a laptop, then maybe, I guess. But and then for settings, right, I had took off the stop task if it runs longer than whatever, right? Because obviously I leave my computer on for a few days, so I wouldn't want it to just like stop it just cause, and then I think that was kind of it, right? Yeah, everything else was I just left alone. Okay, cool. So once you do that, it's done. So now whenever you start your computer up, it should work without a problem. Now, how do we check and make sure? Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot one more thing. I'm really sorry about that, guys. And it is going to be this part here, come on, boom, run whether the user is logged on or not. And I did keep it on, like, you know, the do not store password, run with the highest privileges. Right, you can experiment. Maybe I don't need, you know, the highest privileges and stuff, but since it's like scraping like the devices and whatnot, or the GPUs, I was like, probably enable that. But that's it. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to hit run, and we're going to check and make sure that it is indeed working. So first thing I'm gonna do is, where's my little task manager? Right here, right? Because I knew I forgot to kill the last one. All right, right. So here we go. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and run this. Now, when you run it, you might get a pop-up that which is good. If you get a pop-up when it runs, that's great, because that means that the application is running, because I believe it's like Windows letting you know that this application wants to, like, use the, you know, open up a port in a firewall or whatever, you know, the Windows thing. So, you know, just hit allow, because that's letting it open up the port. And then how else do we also know that it is working? We're going to run this command, netstat ano, and then the find string command, right? We're going to pipe this output into this command here, which is going to look for this port number 9182, which we saw in the briefly in the documentation on the Docker thing. It was the GitHub thing. It was the port it listens to. So let's look and see. And boom, right? We do get results. So that means that we know that it is running. So that's it. That's all you needed to do. So if I go back to my Prometheus, which one is it? I believe it's my Omicron. Let me click, and yep, my Omicron is now up. And there you go. That is how you get your Windows. That's how you get a Windows Prometheus exporter up and going. I want to say, I think I have a dashboard for that. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, there we go. Like, see, so there we go. And it's showing me some details. Yeah, see, it has my drives and whatnot, number of processes. It is, because I was just messing around with it. Now, as far as like what this particular dashboard was, let me get a quick check. Okay, as far as like dashboards go, now that you're exporting the metrics, so there are a few that I'll just show you, just so you can kind of get an idea what you're looking for. Like, I just Googled Prometheus Windows Exporter Dashboard, right? So this first one here, this Windows Exporter Dashboard, is this. And as you can see, it gets some information, but not all. So that one was a bust, right? That second one, which seems to be kind of like the best one I'm noticing so far, is this. And if I go here, yeah, it does definitely looks a lot nicer. It looks like it's properly grabbing just about everything. So it does look nice. So this looks good. So this is probably a dashboard you'll probably want to use. And then lastly, if you go back to the Windows exporter, a thing that we had downloaded, and if you go into their dashboard folder, you can also grab their JSON. Like, this is their this is like their sample dashboard that they had made. So if we download this, so let me go back, and let me just see if I can just, well, yeah, I forgot I gotta go here, right? So click here, let me download the raw file. I'm going to save it. And so I'm assuming that's this, but we're going to add it just in case if maybe they updated it since I last used it. Because I want to say this was, oh yeah, 2 weeks ago. So they almost certainly probably updated this already. So let's go ahead and, yeah, let me discard changes. Go ahead and add that. So I'm just showing you how to do it, right? You guys should know how to add these dashboards to your Grafana, right? Because you can just copy the ID of the dashboard template, right? And then you could just, you know, click on import dashboard, and then you'd put it in there. And as for the JSON file, so look, see, here we go. I could either like just paste it straight in there, or I can just upload the file. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So, okay, boom, right? And let me just see, I'm just Windows Exporter demo, because I'd have to clean all this up when I get a chance. My, where I get my Prometheus data from, let me import it. And there we go. And oh yeah, so see, so yeah, so it's definitely definitely update it and it looks better. So you have a choice, right? You can either use this that 2025 one, which looks all right. See the one startup time. Oh, that's probably just because I had just started, so maybe I'd have to wait for it to like get like a full boot in or something. Yeah, either that or the one that it comes with. And looking at it, I'm probably going to stick with the one that they actually provided as an example. But like I say, it's up to you. All right, for my Windows Prometheus exporter guys, right? This is future me, because I didn't realize this until later. But you should definitely, I recommend going into your firewall settings, right? If you did get the little pop-up that said that, hey, it wants to make a firewall rule and you hit allow, that's fine and stuff. I just had a few issues with that. Well, first and foremost, I hear that sometimes that doesn't work, or that doesn't actually happen. So if it doesn't happen for you and you can't get a remote Prometheus exporter to actually hit your system, even though when you when you try to go to your metrics on your local host, it seems fine. And when you run Netstat, when you run the Netstat command to actually check to see if it's listening to port, you see that it is listening to the appropriate address, because this means that this is, it'll listen to anything that hits the system, not just locally bound. You might be missing a firewall rule, so you want to go ahead and add that. But if it did add a firewall rule, you want to actually change a few things, right? At least I recommend it. You can leave it be if you want, but I was like, bro, I don't understand why they made it like that. So first and foremost, so first and foremost too, I also don't like how Windows doesn't let you combine TCP and UDP rules. You have to do them separate. So that's why you'll see two entries for that Prometheus exporter. You're going to go ahead and go to protocols and ports, and this is going to be set to any. I did not like that by any stretch of imagination. I don't want applications that are not meant to be listening to any port to just listen to any port per se, or have a firewall rule that allows it to listen to any port. So I changed this. Like I said, there's a TCP one and then the other one's UDP. So change it appropriately, 9182. And really, it's not necessarily that big of a deal per se. I mean, because you still have to, set the port on the application or let the application do the default. But one particular thing that I did not like also was when I tried to set this and tried to hit apply, Windows actually complained that I couldn't because there was a different setting set that I had no idea what it was, and it was this edge traversal thing, right? Which says it allows the computer to set unsolicited inbound packets that pass through an edge device like a NAT router. And I was like, what in God's earth is this? And it was set to defer to user, which I was like, okay, it's not that bad. But I was like, bro, I don't know what this is, and it doesn't sound like something I'd even would want. So yeah, let me just go ahead and block that, right? Or set it to block, right? And then it allowed me to then have this actually set. Because like I said, if you try to set it while it's set to defer to user, you'll get this complaint right here that complains that you can't do that when it's set to this. So block that and then hit apply or okay, right? And then you're good to go. So that's all I just wanted to add. And there you go, right? That's how you get your Prometheus exporter running on Windows, as well as to also get it to boot up whenever you turn on your computer. As a recap, we grabbed this one in particular, this Prometheus Community Windows exporter, right? We downloaded the executable, make sure we put it in a place that we're going to leave be, and it's going to be no issue. And then we created a task scheduler event or a task, right? Where we, we set it to start when the computer turns on. And then, of course, like I said, for me in particular, I had used PowerShell. You can try, maybe you want to execute it directly, see if that works. But we had used PowerShell. We gave it the argument to execute that application, right? And then I made sure to put the starting directory as where I actually kept that application at, right? Just said nothing on the conditions, but for the settings, we just made sure that we took off the stop the task if it runs longer than 3 days, anything else, right? And just this. And yeah, that is it. I hope this was helpful, and you guys take care.